Mr. Macchiarola, I listened very carefully to your statement because I was perplexed when you said that there was no special fossil fuel subsidy, as you've said in a number of your public statements. And I was trying to understand how you're under oath, how are you possibly saying that? And it seems to me I understand the loophole now that you're trying to invoke. You say they pay the taxes, but this is just a matter of time. Can you explain to us what the standard tax accounting practices mean for depreciation if there was not the intangible drilling deduction? How many years did the standard tax accounting allow for?
Sure. Chairman, I think in reference to the IDC specifically, I think the way to think about this is in terms of the similar treatment that research and development gets in the tax code. What we're trying to do is incentivize reinvestment back into projects to be able to.
I don't want to interrupt. What would the standard, just so we're on the same page, what would the standard tax accounting be? This standard tax accounting depreciation? The current tax accounting of appreciation is over a longer period of time. Do you know what the standard tax accounting depreciation would be? Over how many years? I mean, it's a simple question. I mean, I assume you know the basics.
Congressman, Mr. Chairman, I think
the answer is it's over 7 years. And what the intangible drilling deduction does, and we may want to have people brief you next time before you come to Congress. It's a 7-year standard deduction. And what the intangible drilling does is for oil companies, they get to deduct expenses on the first year for 7 years. Do you understand the concept of the present value of money?
I certainly do understand that.
And just to be clear, the research and development tax credit and other tax credits can't be taken all at once. Every other industry has standard tax accounting at 7 years. You say you're not for any special exemption. Would you be fine using standard accounting practices for every other industry for the oil and gas industry? Can you commit to that today?
I think the importance of this provision is to be able to reinvest into the next project.
But every other industry reinvests and they have 7 years.
It is similar treatment in the tax code.
It's not similar. Can you just answer this last question and then I'll give you the last word. Why is it that your industry doesn't get the standard 7 years that every other industry, including the tech companies in my district? I'm very familiar with research and development tax credit. I'm all for it. Can you commit today that your industry should get the same provision as every other industry? Why is it that the oil industry should only get 1 year to take all the depreciation in defiance of standard accounting principles?
First off, it's important to note where that savings goes. 80% of the savings that you're talking about goes back into pay wages to be able to move on to the next project, to be able to reinvest
for standard tax accounting
and grow business.
Are you fine to be subject to the same thing that the tech companies in my district are, or Wall Street is? Can you just say you're fine with standard tax accounting principles?
I think Mr. Chairman, to take one provision of the tax code and say it should be applied in the same form and fashion to every business without looking at the entire tax code. The purpose of the tax code is to provide revenues to meet government expenditures.
You said you were saying,
to be able to provide.
That's the last question, sir. You said that you're being treated the exact same as every other industry. That's what you said under oath. That's what you said to the press. And I'm saying right now, there's one provision of the code. We can discuss the others where you're not, where every other person gets 7 years. You didn't know the 7 years. That's standard accounting 101. Trust me, that's true. Now, you could deny the net present value of money. That would be like denying that the earth is round. Obviously, there's a benefit if you get to depreciate it all at once. Can you just, on a consensus, say you commit to what you said? You're fine being treated like every other industry with a 7-year deduction?
We are certainly fine being treated like every other industry.
Okay.
There's no question about that. If you want to take the entire tax code and treat the oil and gas industry the same as every other industry, we're happy to do that.
Ranking Member Norman, my time has elapsed, so I recognize you for